The pride of France, the record holder in more ways than one, Henri Pescarolo is one of a kind. Born in Paris to a respected doctor, Henri was bound to follow in his father's footsteps. That was until he entered a competition set up by Sport Auto magazine to discover young French driving talent. Driving a Triumph TR4 at Montelleri, which Henri commented was fundamentally similar to his father's TR3, Henri not only won the competition, but he set a lap time faster than the instructor in his first competitive outing. A few further wins caught the eye of Jean-Luc Lagarde, the boss of Matra, who signed Henri as the test driver for the team, making his debut in 1965. Come 1966, Henri was racing Formula 3 for Matra alongside Jean-Pierre Peltois and Johnny Servois-Gavin. After a huge accident at Pau, Henri was tasked with repairing the entire car by himself if he wanted to race at the next round at Montelleri. He did, and he went on to win the race. That earned him a call up to Le Mans to fill in a seat in the MS260 alongside Jean-Pierre Jossot, where the pair managed 8 hours before the oil pump of the car broke down. Pescarolo returned his sight into Formula racing, completing the 1967 F3 season with 11 victories in only his second season, including a great win at Monaco, but another retirement for Matra at Le Mans. His results earned him a step into F2 for 1968 alongside Beltois once again, taking a few second place finishes and one win at Albi. He also returned to Le Mans with Servois-Gavin in the new Matra 630S, equipped with the F1 V12 engine, and managed to hold second overall until a broken windscreen wiper motor, combined with the deluge of storms, forced lengthy delays. Come daybreak though, Henri had piloted the car back to second, before debris from Mario Bianchi's fiery accident caused a puncture, which then destroyed the electrics as the tyre flailed around. Yet another DNF. Matra switched focus in 1969, suspending their F1 program in favour of searching for their first Le Mans victory. With a redesigned MS640 coupe not yet ready for the Le Mans test, team boss Lagardère managed to get the gendarmes to agree to close the Mulsanne highway for a few hours in mid-April to allow Pescarolo the time behind the wheel to test the new aero concept. Hitting a small bump by the Honadias restaurant, the car took flight. 250 metres further down the track, the car came to rest and exploded with Henri still trapped inside. He somehow managed to escape while quite literally on fire and was finally extinguished when a passerby smothered him with his coat. Henri's injuries amounted to a broken leg, a cracked vertebra, and severe burns across pretty much his entire body. But somehow, he escaped with his life. He was back behind the wheel only 3 months later, participating in a combined F1-F2 race at the Nürburgring in a Matra MS7. Not only did he win the F2 category, but he managed to remain on the lead lap, finishing 5th overall, a remarkable return to racing. He was back for a full F1 season in 1970, again with Beltois as his teammate, but the Matra didn't quite have the same competitiveness, with a podium at Monaco the headline result for the team. It was a similar story at Le Mans, with all 3 Matra 650Ss suffering engine failures, but a run in the Tour de France Auto yielded great results. A Matra 1-2 with Beltois and Jean Todt eclipsing Pescarolo and Servois-Gavin after a puncture for the pair on Mont Ventoux. Pescarolo was dramatically dropped from the Matra F1 squad for 71, effectively ending his time in competitive F1 machinery. He was picked up by Williams to run the March 711, but a best result of 4th at Silverstone was all that he and the car could manage, with a single further points result in Austria finishing 6th. Despite remaining in F1 until 1976, that would be his last point-scoring effort. In contrast, Pescarolo's sports car career was on the precipice of greatness. He and Andrea Di Adamic took Alfa Romeo to victory in Brands Hatch ahead of both Porsche and Ferrari in 1971, a season where he scored 3 further podiums. Unfortunately, a one-off drive for Ferrari at Le Mans didn't prove fruitful, with a crash in the middle of the night resulting in Pescarolo's 5th consecutive retirement without a finish at the event. For 72, Pescarolo returned to Matra at the seat of the brand new MS670, driving with Indy 500 and Monaco Grand Prix winner Graham Hill. The pair were unstoppable in the wet, with the only competition coming from their teammates in Francois Serveur and Howden Ganley. When they were taken out by a Corvette, it was an easy coast to the line, with Pescarolo finally taking the finish line at Le Mans to go with his first ever win, and Graham Hill becoming the first and so far only person to win the motorsport's Triple Crown. Pescarolo stayed with Matra for the 73 season, and paired with Gerard Larousse, they went on to win 5 rounds of the World Sports Car Championship, including going back-to-back at Le Mans. They were engaged in a thrilling battle at Le Mans against Jackie Ickx and Brian Redman's Ferrari 312P, which blew its engine only 90 minutes from home. At Spa-Francorchamps, Pescarolo earned himself a slice of motorsport history. The 1973 race was the last race on the old Spa-Francorchamps circuit, and Pescarolo's best race lap in the 670S at an average speed of 262.325 kilometers per hour was the fastest racing lap in motorsports. Still, while modern F1 cars have gone faster in qualifying, nothing has come close to that insane pace set in 1973. Matra and Pescarolo made it 3 in a row at Le Mans in 1974, but despite a gearbox drama setting them back 47 minutes. But after Matra's withdrawal from sports cars at the end of 74, Pescarolo went back to Alfa Romeo, driving alongside Derek Bell, where he took 3 victories at Spa, Zeltweg and Watkins Glen. He then spurned an offer from Porsche to instead join Beltois once again in an all-French affair, driving for Jean Rondeau. The pair finished 8th at Le Mans in 1975, but won the GTP class, while Porsche took victory overall. It was enough to convince Pescarolo to join Porsche for 1977, but an engine failure only 4 hours into the race, due to a conrod defect, retired the 936 from the lead. A disappointing run in 1978 saw Pescarolo leave Porsche and return to Rondeau, where despite 4 consecutive DNFs at Le Mans from 1979 to 1982, Pescarolo and Rondeau almost took victory in the World Sports Car Championship in 82. They only missed out thanks to a privateer Porsche 911, earning enough points at the Nürburgring for Porsche to only just eclipse the small French outfit. With that, Pescarolo returned to Porsche in 1984, driving the Newman Yost 956B with Klaus Ludwig. Their attack at Le Mans started disappointingly with a fuel pump issue in the first hour, bringing the car in for lengthy repairs. The car then ran faultlessly, slowly climbing the order before taking the lead in the morning of Sunday and coming home victorious. It was Pescarolo's 4th overall victory, but it would be his last at Le Mans. Pescarolo then moved to Lancia in 85 before getting picked up by Sauber for 1986 and 87. At the 1987 24 Hours of Le Mans, Henri lost his drive shaft coming out of Arnage, rolling to a stop in the Porsche curves. Pulling the onboard toolkit, he managed to jam the drive shaft together and slowly putter around to the pits under his own power. The only thing was, he'd taken so long that the team had already listed the car as a retirement, closed the garage door and was halfway through packing it up. While the car did manage to get repaired after the fact, it did finally expire for good the next morning. Henri took one further class victory at Le Mans, driving for Courage competition in 1992 with Bob Wallach and Jean-Louis Ricky. He continued his Le Mans career all the way through to 1999, driving his final event in a Courage C50, bearing his team name for the first time, marking a remarkable and record-holding 33 Le Mans starts. Pescarolo's exploits weren't limited to sports car racing. He was an avid rallier, driving Works Matras and Peugeots, as well as being a 14-time Paris-Dakar entrant. He arguably could have won the 1988 edition of Paris-Dakar with Jean Todt, until a big crash scuppered their chances late on the piece. Henri was also an avid pilot, competing and winning in helicopter races, and taking on record runs for flights across the Atlantic alongside Patrick Fortique. On one run, in 1984, in the midst of battling bad weather across the Atlantic, Henri was giving an interview to French radio. Dramatically, the engines cut out, dropping the plane only meters above the water before refiring and returning to normality. In the chaos, the radio connection dropped, leaving listeners with no information after hearing the engines fail. Pescarolo arrived in Paris after a 14-hour flight to see that his obituary had already been written. Another interesting instance of his aviation, in 1987, the week after rebuilding the Sauber's drive shaft at the side of the road at Le Mans, Henri, alongside 3 others, embarked on a round-the-world record flight, piloting a 1930s Lodestar. The quartet finished the flight in 88 hours and 48 minutes, a piston engine record that still stands to this very day. Finally, Pescarolo's efforts as a team owner cannot go unmentioned. In a long-standing relationship with Courage, Pescarolo Sport took fourth in their first proper run at Le Mans in 2000, before taking victories in ACO competition in 2001 at Estoril and Magny-Cours. It was a few more years before significant success, but in 2005, after upgrading the C60 and adding a Judd engine, Pescarolo Sport finished second overall at Le Mans, only 2 laps behind the leading Audi. They backed up that result the following year with another second place at Le Mans, as well as a clean sweep of the Le Mans series, winning all 5 races. Pescarolo's last significant result was an overall podium at Le Mans in 2007, before financial troubles befell the team, resulting in its closure in 2013. Few men can match Henri Pescarolo's accolades in sports car racing, Formula 1, rally, aviation, or team ownership, let alone in all facets. The French hero will forever hold a special place in the history of Le Mans and the history of motorsports.